As the economic climate shifts in the United States, one of the things that we should be able to do is have a conversation with our friends about our boundaries around going out and in doing social events, dinners, and things like that together. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist, and one of the more recent controversies on social media has been around, setting boundaries, with our friends around going out, around financial practices, meaning should we pay our bills individually? Meaning that, hey, I'm just going to pay for what I came here, what I consumed, and that's it, versus paying one big bill and then we all chip in and divide it up evenly. And I think this is something that, like, it can be a cultural thing, but it can also be something where it's a financial responsibility type of thing. And I'll use myself as an example. Back in the day, I used to go out with friends and I used to do the whole chip in. And everybody, we get one big bill and we chip in, and we all sort of pay the tip and things like that when we go out. It's a group of us, right? But that's not something. One, it's not financially practical, regardless of how much money each person makes. It's just not practical, and especially because there's a lot of people that like to order expensive things, or they like to get alcohol and just sort of do all these add-ons. And if you have just a salad, or I don't know, burger and fries, or whatever the case may be, if you have just your thing and it's like 9-10 bucks, it doesn't make sense to chip in on a $600 bill or a $300 bill when everybody's ordered drinks and alcohol but you. And so, one of the things that I recommend is having a conversation with your friends about financial boundaries before even going out. Hey, and it looks something like, hey, I'm, really being mindful of my finances lately. I really want to go out with you guys and have a good time. But what I can't do anymore is do the thing where we all split the bill. I'm going to pay for my food and my food only. And you guys go ahead and do you. I don't want to be disrespectful. So if that's going to cause any problems, or if you guys have any concerns about that, let me know. I'm happy to make other arrangements. And I think people can be respectful of that, right? And that can just be a conversation. It doesn't even have to be complicated. You can do it in person, you can do it over the phone. It should not be that big of a deal. If it is that big of a deal, or if it garners reactions that are concerning or that are troubling, I think you kind of already have your answer there that's laid out for you. And you can go ahead and make your own arrangements as necessary. And truthfully speaking, that is certainly a conversation that I've had with my peers as well. You guys pay for yours, I'm going to pay for mine. If you want to order the restaurant, everything on the menu, go ahead. I'm not going to pay for it. Have at it. And that kind of keeps a financial boundary, and you'll be amazed at what happens when you tell people that you are only going to pay for your stuff. Typically speaking, when that tends to happen, when everybody finds out that, like, oh, you have to pay for your own stuff, because it's what I've experienced is it starts a ripple effect. Everybody else is like, I'm going to pay for my own too. And then, so it starts a ripple effect, but you'll be amazed. People don't order as much when they find out it's not a group effort to pay for the items that they wanted, that they wouldn't otherwise get should they foot their own bill. So I find that type of thing tends to happen. Um, Number two, one of the, boundaries, and again, this is, something that I would recommend. It could be a boundary around alcohol, or, because I feel like alcohol can be an unnecessary expense when you go out with friends, and so you can have a boundary around alcohol-centered events. You could say something like, "I prefer to go to events where there's not alcohol being served." So if you guys want to get together and do like, you can offer suggestions like fun stuff, I don't know, Top Golf or something like that, or go to the lake and go to this nice restaurant, that kind of stuff. But I don't want to do alcohol centered events. Um, and a lot of times when you have that conversation around just alcohol alone, it could certainly shake up the dynamic because there are a lot of people, of course, this may not affect everybody, but there are a lot of people who only want to go out and do stuff centered around alcohol, or alcohol must be involved in every aspect of going out. And again, truthfully speaking, this is a conversation that I've had with my peers over the years. Hey, I don't want to hang out anymore if all you guys are going to be doing is consuming alcohol. I don't want any events with me that center alcohol or where alcohol is involved. And they're like, okay, and I don't care how they take it, but that can be a conversation. In what I find, again, without alcohol centered events, that greatly cuts down on the expenses. It also changes the dynamics when you go out. You get to know people in a much m- more a richer way, where people aren't under the influence, people aren't buzzed. You don't have to worry about driving somebody home because they're getting reckless. I mean, and you could certainly have, whatever your discretion is, have alcohol sometimes if that's what you want to do. But when you're trying to cut down on expenses, unnecessary or high bills, maybe taking alcohol out of the equation might help you with that. There also may be an indication there about your friendship if you guys cannot hang out without alcohol being involved. That should be a little bit of a red flag for you. Now, if you have a group of friends that you can go out with, and you don't have to worry about expenses, then certainly have that group of friends. But if you have people that are trying to be financially mindful, as long as it's not super extreme, because sometimes people can be super extreme, or they're just going through super stressful situations and maybe they can't go out at all, and that's okay. But you have to know who you're with and what the dynamics are. The same thing could be said for, like, traveling. Sometimes when you travel, you like to travel a certain way, right? And everybody can't travel like you, so you should know who, if anyone, you can travel with that can travel the way you do, right? And it's not a problem versus people who do have to worry about, or who are concerned about being a little bit more financially mindful. No one's in your pocketbook but you, and everybody doesn't necessarily have the same financial values that you have. But when you set a boundary, typically what I've found is that, people will show you who they are, but that should not change your relationship with your finances or your ability to go out and have a good time without having to break the bank, or without being disrespected for choosing not to break your bank. So I hope that helps. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, and comment, and definitely give me a follow if you found this helpful. Thanks so much.